think 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Okay, so I don't know how many witnesses the defense has, but you should be ready. Well, I guess we're going to have a JOA argument going on, so we'll be ready for defense case on Wednesday. And closing arguments, be prepared to do closing arguments on Wednesday also, depending on how long this defense case takes. I'm not saying we will do them because I don't want to do them late in the day. Jury instructions on this type of case take a long time.
Yep.
But if, let's say, they don't put on very many people and we're talking about 11 o'clock, I'll probably go into closing arguments. Okay? The jury ready?
Yes, Judge.
Are they all here?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. State, we ready to proceed?
Just one moment, Judge. Mr. Walhorn has the first witness with him. Okay.
We're ready, Judge. We're ready.
I'll let Mr. Longhorn sit down before I bring the jury in, so it doesn't look like he's late or anything. You all set? Oh, Mr. Longhorn, don't stand in front of my clerk while she swears the witness, okay?
While she's what?
While she swears the witness.
Oh, okay.
You don't realize you did that last time?
No.
Oh, yeah, it was great. She was like,
Didn't even notice. I'm glad you told me. Okay.
all right, bring the jury in.
Jury's all present and seated, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Did y'all have a nice long weekend?
Yes.
And you got to, do some laundry and eat some like regular dinners and things like that. Was everybody able to follow my instructions? No reading, texting, tweeting, anything? Yes? All right. I think you've met my new bailiff for the week. He'll be with you all week, and he has the same rules as my other bailiff, and he's not going to answer any of your questions other than what time to be back and where to park and where the restrooms are and things like that. So I believe the state's ready to proceed with their next witness. State?
State would call James Stratton.
Stratton?
Stratton.
All right, James Stratton. Good morning, Mr. Stratton. I'm going to have you come up to the podium and stop right there when you get to the podium. Turn, raise your right hand, and be sworn by my clerk.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, please have a seat in the witness stand and speak in a loud and clear voice for me, okay?
Okay.
All right, State, you ready to proceed?
Thank you, Judge. Counsel. Morning.
Good morning.
Would you please introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is James Spratling. I'm an asset protection manager for Walmart in Hudson, Florida.
And will you spell your last name for the court reporter?
S is in Sam, P-R-A-T-L-I-N-G.
Now, Mr. Spratling, you said you're an asset protection manager for Walmart.
Yes, sir.
Could you kind of tell us what that means? What are your duties?
Asset protection manager entails all of the security for the building as well as the safety of the Walmart.
And does that include trying to make sure items don't get stolen?
Yes, sir.
I figure that's a large part of your job.
Correct.
And then also, could you tell us about the camera system that you have at Walmart?
Yes, sir. We have close to 400 cameras. We have PTZs, which are pan, tilt, and zoom cameras, still shots, stuff of that nature.
Over 400, you said?
Over 400.
And are all of these actively recording at one time?
Yes, sir.
And is all of that data captured in some manner?
Yes, sir.
And can you go back and look up a time and pull up the videos for that particular time?
Yes, sir.
Now, do you recall meeting with Detective Hatcher on September 8th, 2014 around 1 p.m.?
Yes, sir.
And what was Detective Hatcher's reason for meeting with you?
He had an item, a picture of a shovel barcode that he needed me to identify to see if we sold it in our local Walmart.
And was that something you were able to help him with?
Yes, sir, it was.
And was that something you do sell at your Walmart?
Yes, sir, it was.
And how did you know that?
We went out to the garden center and looked at the picture versus the shovels that we had, and I was able to match the barcode or UPC to the item that we sold in our store.
Okay, so you could look at the label, you found the same label, and then the barcode on that label matched?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, did Detective Hatcher also give you a credit card number?
Yes, sir. He gave me the last four of a credit card number and asked if I could pull it up in our system to see if that credit card had been used at our store in a certain date range.
And is that something, as the asset protection manager, you're able to do?
Yes, sir.
And how does that work? How are you able to look up something like that in your computer system?
Our system has a query where I can put in multiple different search options. In this particular instance, I put in credit card with the last four ending numbers of what he requested.
And this is probably kind of an obvious sounding question. Let me ask you just to make sure we're all on the same page. How was that record created in the first place?
Every time a transaction's made at Walmart, it's electronically stored. That is the original copy. When that receipt prints off, that's a secondary copy. So we keep all the original copies for every transaction that's done within the Walmart.
And then those are the transactions that you could go back and search by
Yes,
a
sir.
variety of methods.
Yes.
Now, did you actually find the shovel transaction that Detective Hatcher was looking for?
Yes, sir, I did.
And was it on August 29th, 2014?
Yes, sir, it was.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
You may.
And I've already shown defense. I'm showing the witness what's been marked for ID as states 602. Without showing the jury, could you tell us what this is?
It's a copy of an electronic journal entry into our system.
And will you tell us what journal entry means?
Journal entry is the electronic data that when a registered transaction is done, it stores electronically in our system so that we're able to pull it up.
Is it, in appearance at least, is it very similar to a receipt?
Correct. It's
Okay.
very similar to a receipt.
Now, is that the journal transaction or the journal entry for the shovel using the credit card number that had been given to you by Detective Hatcher?
Yes, sir, it is. Register 67, which is our electronics department.
And is that a true and accurate copy of the record that was created and maintained by Walmart and provided to the Sheriff's Office?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, this time we would like to introduce this document into evidence as state 602.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
It will come as 602.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Spratling, on this journal transaction there, could you kind of tell us what we're looking at? I see there's 3 transactions and then some stuff below it.
His first attempt was to purchase a PlayStation game console, then a PlayStation 4 game, and the shovel using this credit card ending at 7785. When he did that, the credit card company declined the charge, I'm assuming because it was over the credit limit of that card. They then took off the game and the console, and he was able to purchase the shovel by itself on the credit card, and that charge was accepted through the credit card company.
And was the total charge for the shovel $17.09?
Yes, sir, it was.
And this was it on 8/29/2014 at 11:48 p.m.?
Yes, sir, it was.
Thank you. Now, when you met with Detective Hatcher, were you also able to provide him with a surveillance video?
Yes, sir, I was.
Your Honor, at this time, we would like to publish part of States 601.
Okay.
Now, this has already been entered into evidence, but this is States 601. Is that a copy of the surveillance video that you provided?
Yes, sir, it is. My initials are on there.
Great. Now, on these videos, there are multiple camera views. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you want to go over there? Okay. It's a display place for everybody in the jury can see it and maybe move it.
Yeah.
Mr. Spratling, can you see that screen as well?
Yes, sir.
Now, on this disc that you provided, there's multiple views: rooftop cam, Stanley, GROC, entrance, GROC. We're going to go through some of these and get you to kind of tell us what we're looking at in the store. There it goes. All right. Now, Mr. Spratton, this one is labeled Rooftop Cam Row 11. Can you tell us what this is?
Okay, that would be a shot of the Hudson Walmart row 11 in the parking lot.
And this is just looking out from the building?
Yes, sir. It's shooting off of the building towards US 19.
And that appears to be a silver van that just pulled in. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir. It looks like a silver minivan.
And the timestamp on that one, I know it's already closed. Did you get a chance to read it? Did it say 11:34?
I did not see, sir.
Pull it back up for you. Is that 11:32 and 58 seconds right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this is the time frame that the sheriff's office was asking about, and that's the reason you pulled this particular range.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, this one says Stanley GROC-OH exit out. Could you tell us what that means?
Okay, a Stanley shot is a Stanley door, the automatic doors that come in and out. It's an overhead shot off of a Stanley door.
And
And out would be the outside of the building, in would be the inside of the building.
Does GROC mean the grocery side?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Spratling, is the timestamp on this one approximately 11:36 right now?
Yes, sir, it is.
Now, this next one says entrance GROC. Could you tell us what that means we're looking at?
That's the entrance of the store coming in on the grocery side of the building.
So is this pointing at the same doors we just saw, but from a different angle?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Those doors in the background, those Stanley opening and closing doors, that camera that we were watching is on top of that door pointing outward.
And is this one currently about 11:35 on the timestamp?
Yes, sir, it is.
Now, the parking lot in the video that we saw a few minutes ago, was that the parking lot generally outside of these doors?
Yes, sir.
The next one says Stanley GARPETJM out. Can you tell us what that means?
That's going to be the Stanley door at the garden center between Pets and the garden center. And this is going to be a shot shooting in from the inside of garden center from that Stanley door into the garden center itself.
And is the timestamp on this one approximately 11:37 right now?
Yes, sir, it is.
And are your timestamps on your video surveillance, are they accurate?
Yes, sir. All of them are synced together.
And you're able to put into your system, I'd like to see the videos for this time. It'll pull up all the cameras. You can select the ones you want.
Yes, I'm able to put in a timestamp or a time or any video that I want to pull, and it's able to pull that exact time.
This next one that we're going to look at says AA Shoes Electronics. Can you tell us what that means?
AA stands for Action Alley, which is the main thoroughfares through Walmart that customers walk in.
Now, is this in the front of the store?
Yes, sir, that is from our GM entrance shooting towards the grocery entrance along the front Action Alley of the store.
The next one says AAGR Jewelry 97. Can you tell us what that means?
Action Alley grocery to jewelry. So that's a reverse angle of the shot we were just looking at from the grocery shooting toward jewelry down towards GM.
The next one says Stanley GROC JM exit in. Can you tell us what that means?
Okay, that's a grocery shot of our entrance exit, and this is going to be them coming out of the store into the parking lot area.
The next one says Rooftop Cam GR entrance. Can you tell us what that means?
Okay, that is an overview of the grocery entrance and the front parking lot of the store.
And this one is Rooftop Cam row 11 out. Can you tell us what that means?
Okay, that's another shot of the first one that we originally looked at, the rooftop camera 11 in our parking lot in front of the store.
And is the timestamp here approximately 11:50 at this point?
Yes, sir, it is.
Spratling, I'm going to show you some photographs that I've already shown to defense. These are labeled for identification purposes as states 20, 21, 605, 604, 603. Could you please look at these without showing the jury and tell me what these are?
These are all snapshots of the video we just watched.
Those are all essentially still photographs taken from that video.
Yes, sir.
And are they true and accurate representations of what was captured in the video?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to introduce these into evidence.
All right, the numbers again, make sure I have them.
We've got 20, 21, 605, 604, and 603.
All right, any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, so 603, 604, 605, 20, and 21 will come in.
Your Honor, may we publish these?
You may. Are you going to publish it in the overhead, or are you going to?
Instead of throw them on the overhead, so
That's
we
fine.
have to switch back from the computer properly. Now, this photograph, Mr. Spratling, at the bottom, it says rooftop cam 11. Is that the same parking lot cameras we mentioned earlier?
Yes, sir, it is.
And this is at 11:33 p.m. approximately.
Yes.
And this is that we're looking at now is state 603. This next image is state 604. And would you tell us again what the GAR EET
This
means?
is the garden pet jam out going into the garden center from date 8/29/2014 and 11:37 p.m.
Thank you. And states 605. Could you tell us again what we're looking at here?
That is the same shot we just looked at. This time he's coming back towards inside the store.
Is the man in that image holding a shovel at this point?
Yes, sir, he is.
And states 20.
Same shot as previously, just a little bit closer to the camera itself.
And states 21.
This is our action alley, shooting from the grocery side of the store toward the GM side of the store, showing the person with the shovel in his hand.
Thank you. Your Honor, we have no further questions at this time. Thank you.
All right, Cross?
No questions, Judge.
All right, sir, you may step down. Thank you very much. Your state, may he be released?
Yes, Judge.
All right, defense, any objection?
No, Your
All
Honor.
right, sir, you are released. Thank you very much. State, call your next witness.
State would call Kimberly Ward.
Kimberly Ward. Good morning, Ms. Ward. If you want to step up to the podium for me.
Good morning.
Good morning. If you want to stop right there, raise your right hand, be sworn by my clerk.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, please have a seat in the witness stand, speak in a loud and clear voice for me, okay? State, may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Could you please turn and introduce yourself to the jury?
Good morning. My name is Kimberly Ward. That's W-A-R-D.
And Ms. Ward, we've heard a little bit about you through some of the other witnesses. Do you know Jimmy Ziegler?
I do.
Do you know Tanya Carlson?
I do.
How do you know them?
I live 2 blocks away from the Fisherman Shack, so I would consider myself a regular. We go in most days after work for 2 beers from 6 to 7:15. So I've known Jimmy and Tanya for many, many years. Very good friends.
Back before August of 2014, did you know Nicholas Leonard?
I did, yes.
You see him in the Fisherman Shack on a fairly regular basis?
Absolutely, yes.
Did you know Megan Brown?
Yes.
How did you come to meet Megan Brown?
She had been employed at the Fisherman Shack for approximately 2 months. She had just moved in moved to the area the first part of July, I believe.
Okay. And as a regular, going there often, you had a decent amount of contact with Megan Brown?
Yes.
And do you remember the last day that Megan Brown worked?
Yes, that would have been Wednesday, the 27th of August.
Of 2014?
That's correct.
And the next day, August 28th of 2014, did you learn about some stuff that had happened with Megan in that morning?
Yes.
Was it something that was being discussed within
Absolutely.
the bar?
Yes.
Were there people who were concerned about her?
Yes.
Were you one of those people?
Absolutely.
Did you notice did you know what vehicle she drove?
Yes. It was a blue Blazer SUV type.
And I'm holding up stage 308. Does that appear to be the vehicle?
It does, yes.
Now, on the 28th, were you aware through conversation with people that Megan was not expected to come into work that day?
That's correct, yes.
Because of the morning incident?
Yes. She was going to get some sleep, and I was told that she was afraid.
Well, without going into what,
Sustained.
don't want to talk about what anybody said?
Okay,
Just hearsay, can't go into that, but you were aware she wasn't planning to be in that day.
that's correct.
But you also saw that her vehicle was there.
Yes, left from the night before.
So the next day, Friday, August 29th, Did you notice, was the vehicle still there?
It was,
Were you keeping a close eye on it?
yes,
Out of concern?
yes,
So if it had moved or disappeared and come back, that's something you would have taken note of.
yes.
So turning your attention to the next day, August 30th of 2014, that would have been Saturday?
Saturday morning.
Could you describe for the jury kind of how you went about your morning and what you observed?
I would typically drive to either the ice cream parlor or one of the businesses down on Old Dixie Highway where I would walk for exercise, where I would have sidewalk. So I would have to drive by the Fisherman Shack. I would then go again to the ice cream parlor and then walk basically it's a 2-mile round trip down to Hudson Beach and back. And I did that most every morning. It took me right at an hour if I did the 2-mile trek. So at 8:30, the car was there. And I said an expletive, Megan's car is still here. I made a mental note of it. I spoke out loud to myself. Then I did my 2-mile walk. I came back by at 9:30, 1 hour later, and the car was gone. And at that point, I felt relief. And I said when I got home to my husband, thank goodness.
Objection, Judge.
Without going into what was said, you were relieved some that the car was gone?
Yes.
You thought that Megan must have been okay because she came to get her car?
Yep,
Now, and you said 8:30 and 9:30, that's 8:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m.?
that's correct.
And when you passed by at 9:30 a.m. and saw that the vehicle was gone, did you notice, had anybody come to open up yet?
No, it was right before, so it was 9:30. Tanya would have gotten there about 9:45.
Okay,
It
and you're
was
familiar
typically
with when the Fisherman Shack opens
10
and when the
o'clock.
bartender comes
Yes.
in to get all that ready?
Mhm.
Okay. Judge, may I have a moment?
You may.
I don't have any more questions, Judge.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Ward, you may step down. State is she released from her subpoena?
Subject to recall, yes, Judge.
Okay, ma'am, you're released at this time, but you stay on standby with the state, okay?
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
You can leave the courthouse. State, call your next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. State would call Kayla Wilkins.
Good morning, Ms. Wilkins. You come up to the podium for me. Stop right there, raise your right hand, and sworn by my clerk.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I swear.
All right, ma'am, if you can have a seat in the witness stand and speak in a loud and clear voice. You sound like you're a low talker, so you need to keep it up, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. State, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, ma'am. Could you please turn to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, introduce yourself by stating your name?
My name is Kayla Wilkins.
And Ms. Wilkins, do you live in Pasco County?
Yes.
Which part?
Hudson.
All right. And what do you currently do for a living?
I am an occupational therapy assistant.
All right. Back in 2014, did you work someplace else?
Yes.
And where did you work?
Winn-Dixie.
And which Winn-Dixie store did you work at?
The one on Hudson Ave and 19.
All right. And what did you do at Winn-Dixie?
I was a customer service associate.
And what does that mean?
I worked behind the customer service desk, and I did money management, things in the office, excuse me, etc.
All right. I'm going to ask you to sit, just to pull up a little bit closer to that microphone. Good. There we go. Thank you, ma'am. So, customer service representative, is that the same as a person, if you're buying groceries and you go to the checkout line, is that the same person that checks out all the food, or is that somewhat different?
A little bit different.
All right. You have responsibilities in the office,
Yes.
and this customer service area, where is it located in the store?
If at that specific store, when you first walk in, it's to the left-hand side.
Okay, and you kind of mentioned some of the duties that are back there, but if do you guys keep tobacco products behind the customer service desk?
We do.
And if someone wanted to buy a money order or cash a check, would they go to you?
Yes.
This Winn-Dixie store that you work at back in 2014, did it have a video surveillance system?
It did.
And are you aware that it was working?
Yes.
In fact, if you were to go into the office, at times you could see a display of what was going on in the store.
Yes.
Right. And in fact, you've had an opportunity to view some video surveillance of a case that you were involved in. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. And I'm going to, for the record, I've already shown defense counsel State's Exhibit 22. Ma'am, I'm going to ask you to look at this CD, and do you see your initials and the date on there?
I do.
Did you have an opportunity to watch the video surveillance that's on that CD?
I did.
And does that video surveillance accurately depict the customer service area of the Winn-Dixie store where you work?
It does.
In fact, you've seen yourself on this video, correct?
Correct.
All right, Judge, at this time, the state would seek to admit State's Exhibit 22 as the next item of evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, 22 will come in.
And ma'am, before I begin, do you remember the date that this video surveillance captured?
I do not.
Okay. As part of this investigation, did you prepare a written statement to the sheriff's office in regards to your activities in this case?
I did.
Would it help refresh your memory if I were to show you your written statement and the date that we're referencing?
Yes.
Okay. For the record, I'm sure the defense counsel. All right, Ms. Wilkins, I'm just going to show you this. Take a look at it. Let me know if you recognize it.
I do.
Yeah. You see the date that we're referencing on here?
Yes.
And what date are we talking about?
September 1st, 2014.
September the 1st of 2014. All right, ma'am. I'm gonna. Can you look over your right shoulder and see the monitor there?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm gonna. Give me 1 second to get to. All right, ma'am, let's just, before I get playing this video, let's just give a description of what we're looking at here on the monitor screen. Can you see the area? What area is this?
This is the customer service desk.
All right. And I'm going to walk over, I'm going to point to some areas, and I want you to tell me what it is.
Sure.
What's this right here?
It's where we keep the cigarettes.
Tobacco products?
Tobacco products.
And this is the cash register right here?
Correct.
If you were going to do some check cashing, would it be in this area as well?
Yes.
You can kind of see a small little blue light right here. What is that?
The electronic PIN pad.
And what is that for?
For anyone that's making an electronic payment, that is what they pay through.
All right. And you can't see in this area, but is there, what's that out of the view of the camera? What's that area over there?
The pharmacy.
All right. All right, now I'm going to forward to the time in question here. Go too far. All right, man, do you see yourself in this picture?
I do.
Okay. All right, I'm going to let it play, and then I'll pause it in a second, okay?
Okay.
And while this is playing, man, do you remember doing a transaction for two particular items, a jug of milk, a gallon of milk, and a case of Yingling beer?
Yes.
All right, is that the transaction that's in question?
Yes.
All right, so when we see the case of beer and the gallon of milk, let us know.
Okay.
See if I can do that just a little bit. It's just easier to let it play for a minute.
This is where the beer and milk come into play.
Yes, ma'am. So this is the individual that purchased the beer and the Yingling beer.
Yes.
Prior to him walking up to your area, did you observe the beer and milk sitting out?
I did. It was over in the pharmacy area.
Okay, it was just sitting there? Okay. Is that a yes?
Yes.
All right, ma'am. And what are you doing now, ma'am?
I am attempting to cash a check.
Okay. Did this individual present you with a check?
Yes.
Ultimately, were you able to cash the check that he presented to you?
No.
And who's that walking up?
One of my managers, Chris.
All right. As you sit here today, do you have any recollection of why the check was not able to be cashed?
No.
Where are you going now?
To where the tobacco products are?
All right. Are you familiar with cigarettes?
So, yes. From when I worked there, vaguely, yeah.
Okay. If someone were to ask for a specific type, would you know exactly where to find them? Or do you sometimes require some help?
I would require help.
All right. And what is he doing over here? Is he,
He is helping me find the ones that he wanted.
okay. And what are you doing now?
I am ringing up the items that he would like to purchase.
That include the gallon of milk, the case of Yingling beer, and the cigarettes?
It does.
And how is he paying for it?
With a credit card.
At that PIN terminal?
You're right. Yes.
Was he able to complete the transaction?
Yes.
All right, ma'am. Okay. Just one more thing before we're done, ma'am.
Sure.
I'd like to show you what's been marked as States Exhibits 23, 606, and 607. For the record, I've shown them to Defense Counsel. Ma'am, I want you to take a second and look at these three photographs.
Okay.
All right, ma'am, are those photographs of the video that we just watched?
Yes.
All right. And I want to ask you, paying particular attention to the upper right-hand corner. Let's see, where's the first one? And I'm referring to States Exhibit 23. What time is noted on this video?
1512.
15:12, and that's like a military time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know how that converts into normal time?
312.
All right, ma'am. And would that had been during the 3/12, during the day PM on a shift that you worked
Yes,
on September the 1st of 2014?
yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would seek to admit 23, 606, and 607.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, 23, 606, and 607 will be admitted.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. I have no further questions of this witness.
Cross?
No questions, Judge.
All right, ma'am, you may step down. Is she released from her subpoena?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, you're released from your subpoena. Thank you so much. Thank you. State, call your next witness.
State will call Ethan Roy.
All right, Ethan Roy, please. Good morning, Mr. Roy. If you want to step up to the podium right here for me. You stop right there, raise your right hand, and be sworn by my clerk.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, sir, you may step around into the witness stand and speak in a loud and clear voice for me, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, sir. State, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Defense. Could you please turn and introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Ethan Roy. I currently live in Kentucky.
And Mr. Roy, back in 2014, where'd you live?
In Holiday Lake Estates.
Here in Pasco County, Florida?
Yes, sir.
What were you doing for work at that time?
Working for Republic Trash Service. I was a driver.
And you give the jury an idea, basically, what are we talking about?
I get up early, go and pick up trash, go to each individual house and just pick up trash and go through my route every day.
Okay. And did you have a route that included the Sea Pines area of Old Dixie Highway?
Yes, sir.
Hatteras Drive?
Yes, sir.
Now, I want to take you back to the Tuesday after Labor Day of 2014, which would have been September 2nd, 2014. Were you working your trash route on that particular day?
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 33. Do you remember this house?
Yes, sir.
On September 2nd, 2014, was there anything a little bit unusual when you picked up or were at that house?
Yeah, normally there's no trash there, maybe a bag once in a great, month or two or something, but that morning had 10 or so bags sitting out. Did not look at my route sheet that morning. That time of the year is when snowbirders come back. Did a courtesy pickup, helped my temp that I had on the back pick up the trash, throw it in the back.
Do you remember what color the trash bags were?
White.
And were they heavy?
Pretty heavy. Sort of like they clean cabinets out, food products, stuff like that.
Some weight to them?
Yes.
And so you pick up those 10 or so trash bags from that curb. You put them in the back of the garbage truck after that?
Yes, sir.
So what happens to that trash?
It gets crushed in the garbage truck, and then at the end of the day, we take it to the infirmary and dump it, and they burn it.
And they burn it, meaning they incinerate it?
Yes, sir.
Meaning it's gone.
It's gone.
Anyone wants to go back and try and get that trash, they're not going to get anything.
No.
Okay. And trash pickup days were Tuesdays and Fridays
Yes,
for
sir.
that area? I don't have any more questions, Judge.
Cross?
Nothing, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Roy, thank you very much, sir. You may step down. State, is he released from his subpoena?
Yes, Judge.
Sir, you are free to go. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank you.
State, call your next witness.
Stephanie Holiak.
Can you spell the last name for me?
Yes, Holyak.
Wouldn't have gotten that one. Good morning, ma'am. If you want to step up to the podium for me. You can raise your right hand and be sworn by my clerk.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, ma'am. If you want to step around to the witness stand right there and speak in a loud and clear voice for me, okay? That's not loud and clear, so you gotta be louder than that one.
Thank you.
No problem. State, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Morning.
Good morning.
Would you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Hi, my name is Stephanie Holiak. It's Stephanie, last name Holiak, Holyak.
And Ms. Holiak, let's go back to 2014. In September of 2014, where did you work?
I worked at Wells Fargo.
And what did you do for Wells Fargo?
I was a bank teller.
And what does a bank teller do?
We cash checks, we make deposits, we make payments on various loans.
And the bank tellers are the people who interact with the public at the counter.
Yes, that's correct.
Now, were you working on September 2nd, 2014?
Yes, I was.
And on that particular day, do you recall having any interaction with a man by the name of Adam Matos?
Yes, I do.
And was Adam Matos there to cash a check?
Yes.
And do you recall what the check was for?
It was this payroll check from Get Hooked.
And the process for cashing a check, would you mind walking us through kind of how that works? I know that's simple, but just so we're all on the same page.
Yes, so I take his identification, and then we get a thumbprint on the check, and then I process the check and cash it.
And you get a thumbprint and you get ID. The thumbprint, is that for people who don't have an account or people who do have an account or everybody?
That is for non-customers, the thumbprint.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you have an account with Wells Fargo and walk in, you don't have to thumbprint.
That's correct.
Okay. But if you don't, you got to do a thumbprint.
Yes.
Now, the check that was cashed, well, actually, let me back up.
Okay.
I'm going to show you some photographs that have been marked for identification as States 24. Without showing these to the jury, can you kind of just flip through them and tell us what these are?
This is video surveillance of me cashing Adam's check.
And when you say video surveillance, are these actually still photos taken from the video surveillance?
Yes.
And Wells Fargo has cameras in their banks
Correct.
and filming in multiple different angles.
Yes.
And are these photographs true and accurate representations of what you observed that day?
Yes, they are.
And Your Honor, at this time, I would like to introduce States 24 into evidence as States 24.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, States 24 will come in as States 24.
Thank you. And we'd also like to call this judge.
You may.
Ms. Holiak, can you see the display that's turning on right now from where you're seated?
No.
It's not on yet, but the big one?
Okay, yes.
Okay. It takes a second to warm up. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can actually see what you're looking at here. This first photograph here, can you tell us where this is in the bank?
This is the front door to Wells Fargo.
And is that Adam Matos?
Yes.
Now, the next photo there, is that the same door we just saw?
Yes.
And is this the same door, just the person a little bit farther inside?
Yes.
Now, this one appears to be a different angle entirely. What are we looking at here?
That's the teller line.
And the teller line meaning on the left side of the photo, that's where all the bank tellers are, and then the public approaches from the right side.
Correct.
And is that, again, the Adam Matos who you cashed a check for that day?
Yes.
Now, this photo appears to be a different angle again. Where is this one from?
That's Adam at my window cashing the check.
And same camera angle here?
Yes.
And is this him actually physically handing you the check?
Yes.
Again, same camera angle.
Yes.
Now here, he's handing you something. Can you tell what he's handing you there?
That's his ID, identification.
Is this next photo also still his ID?
Yes.
And here, there appears to be one other card in the screen.
Social security card.
And is that part of what you sometimes require to cash checks for non-account holders?
That's correct. 2 forms of identification.
And then this photo again, same camera angle, what are we looking at here?
He is thumbprinting the check.
And that looks like, is he actually putting his hand in the ink pad in the photo?
Yes.
And is that him putting the actual print onto the document?
Yes.
Again, same camera angle.
Yes.
And is this the same camera angle?
Yes.
And is that again the same camera angle?
Yes.
Now, is this you actually giving him the cash back in exchange for it?
Yes.
Now, the hands that we can see here, are those your hands?
Yes, they are.
And again, this is the same camera angle. He appears to have the cash in his hand at that point.
Yes.
And this is back to the, I'm sorry, I forgot the word you used for this area.
This is the teller line
Teller
in the
line.
lobby. Yes.
And is that the Adam Matos lead?
Yes.
And this is the same doors we saw earlier.
Yes, they are.
And that's just him leaving this time instead of coming in.
Correct.
And again, the same thing.
Yes.
Now, while Adam Matos was at the bank, did he talk to you about possibly opening a checking account?
Yes, he did.
And did you discuss with him coming back the next day?
Yes, I did.
And when you set that appointment up, did you take his address and his phone number?
Yes, he did provide that.
And when that information is provided to you, did you enter it into your computer system?
Yes, I did.
And, Your Honor, may I approach with what has been marked as state 609?
Okay.
And without showing the jury, can you tell us what this is?
This is a screenshot of the information that I entered into our system of Adam Matos' address and his cell phone number that he provided me.
And is that a true and accurate copy of what you actually entered in?
Yes.
Your Honor, this time we would like to introduce this into evidence, as state 609.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, it will be entered as 609. Okay, you
And may I publish?
You may.
And the address that was given to you is at 7719 Hatteras Drive.
Yes.
And the cell phone is that 484-951-2687.
Yes.
And Your Honor, may I approach the witness one more time with states 608.
You may.
Without
This is
show.
marked as 608.
Marked for ID, yes. Would you please tell us what that is without showing the jury?
This is Adam's payroll check that I cashed
And how do you know it's a payroll check?
because it's from his employer.
And is that a name that you recognize?
Yes, it is.
And is that a name that you associate with Get Hooked?
Correct.
And was that just from cashing numerous payroll checks from
That-
Get Hooked?
Correct.
Okay. And is this a true and accurate copy of the check that you cashed that day?
Yes, it is.
And Your Honor, at this time, we'd like to move 608 into evidence at 608.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, 608 will come in.
And may we publish?
You may.
Please zoom that out. And so this is the check that you cashed that day, you said?
Yes.
And the name on it is Michelle, I can't read the last name, but do you know the last name?
Bit-taker?
And that is the name that you associated with Gitmo.
Correct.
And the man whose check you cashed that day, did you see him in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
Would you please point to him and identify him by an article of clothing that he's wearing?
He's right there, and he's wearing a blue tie, navy blue.
Your Honor, may the record reflect that she has identified the defendant.
It will still reflect.
Yeah, just 1 second. Judge, we have no further questions right now.
Cross?
Just briefly, Your Honor.
Okay.
Good morning, Ms. Holyoke.
Good morning.
I just had a quick question for you. You mentioned earlier on direct that you had a discussion with Mr. Matos about opening a checking account, is that right?
Yes, I did.
That's something that you initiated, right?
Yes.
You asked him if he wanted to open an account,
Yes.
but he did not come back to open that account, is that right?
He did not, but he scheduled an appointment to come back the next day because he was not available to do it the day that he came into the bank.
Okay. I don't have any further questions, John.
No reason right there.
All right, she released from her subpoena?
She is.
All right, ma'am, you may step down and you're released from
Thank
your
you.
subpoena. All right, state, call your next witness.
Say we call Jesse Fletcher.
Jesse Fletcher. Good morning, Mr. Fletcher. If you want to step up to the podium for me. You can stop right there, or raise your right hand and be sworn by my clerk.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I swear.
All right, sir, have the seat in the witness stand, speak in a loud and clear voice for me, okay? Thank you, sir. State, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge, Defense Counsel. Could you please turn and introduce yourself to the jury?
Hello, my name is Jesse Fletcher.
Now, Mr. Fletcher, I want to take you back to August and September 2014. What were you doing for work at that time?
I was working for Papa John's at the corner of Little and 52.
And what did you do for them?
I was a delivery driver and part-time shift leader, manager.
Okay. Did you have occasion on September 2nd of 2014 to deliver pizza to this residence? I'm displaying State's Exhibit 33.
Yes.
Approximately what time, if you remember?
Approximately 6 o'clock p.m.
And can you describe when you got to the residence, you have to go up the flight of stairs to get to the front door?
That's correct.
And you do that?
Yes.
And you knock on the door or ring the bell?
Yes.
And anybody answer?
Yes.
Could you describe basically the person who answered? Woman, man, child, adult?
It was an adult male. It appeared to be Hispanic maybe, and I recall he was not wearing a shirt.
Okay. And you give him pizza?
Yes.
Now, when you were doing this, did you notice any unusual odors?
Yes.
Now, at that time, when you were delivering pizza for Papa John's, was this an odor that you were familiar with?
No.
Was this the first time you'd ever smelled something like this?
Yes.
Good smell or bad smell?
Bad. Very, very foul.
Now, what do you do for work now?
I'm a deputy sheriff for Hernando County.
And since you've become a deputy sheriff for Hernando County, have you had occasion to respond to places where there are deceased people?
Yes.
And you've had occasion to respond to places where there are people who've been deceased for a period of time?
Yes.
And have you had an opportunity to smell the smell that you smelled at 7719 Hatteras Drive again?
Yes, I have.
Do you now know what that smell smells like, or what it is?
Yes.
And is it a distinct odor?
It is.
And what is that smell?
It's the smell of a body in a state of decomposition for an extended period of time.
Okay. And other than the person who answered the door and you gave the pizza to, did you see anybody else moving around?
No.
No other people?
Nothing.
Yeah, I want to show you what's been marked as states 610 for identification. I believe we're on 610, Judge.
We are on 610, yes, we are. I forgot, we went from 609 back up to 608, so we're good.
Okay. You recognize this?
Yes, I do.
Is that your signature there on the first page?
Yes.
Did you have an opportunity to review this back on September 5th of 2014?
Yep.
And is it a series of photos?
Yes, it is.
I imagine you're much more familiar with this now since you've been a sheriff's deputy.
That's correct.
And were you able to select from the group of photos the person that you had delivered pizza to?
Yes.
And which photograph did you select?
This one right here, photograph number 7, on page 7 rather.
It's labeled page number 7?
Yes.
Did you circle it and put your name on it and your initials on the circle?
Yes, I did.
And that individual, or Judge, at this time, State would ask to move 610 into evidence.
Any objection?
No.
All right, 610 will come in.
And that individual that you delivered the pizza to on September 2nd at about 6 p.m., do you see that individual in the courtroom here today?
Yes.
Could you please point him out and identify something he's wearing?
And blue tie.
And Judge, may the record reflect the witnesses indicated the defendant? You want to be a little more specific than that?
Suit and tie, jacket.
Where is he on this?
Everybody.
Oh, I'm sorry, to the far left,
Okay.
over there.
The
My
marker
left,
will reflect.
Okay.
my left.
He's showing you the defendant.
May the record reflect that the witnesses indicated the defendant, Judge?
It will so reflect.
Judge, may I have a moment?
May?
I don't have any more questions.
Cross?
No questions.
All right, sir, you may step down. Is he released from his subpoena?
Yes, Judge.
Spence, any objections?
No, Your Honor.
You're free to go, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
State, call your next witness.
Grace Dimalanta.
Ma'am, if you want to step up. You can stop right there. Raise your right hand and be sworn by my clerk.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. All right, ma'am? You want to go ahead and have a seat in the witness stand and speak in a loud and clear voice for me, okay?
Yes.
There's a microphone there, so if you move up close, you won't even have to yell or anything. State, you ready to proceed?
Yes, Judge. Good morning.
Morning.
Would you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Hi, I'm Grace Dimalanta,
And will you spell your last name for the court reporter?
Dimalanta.
And Ms. Dimalanta, where do you work?
I work for Jordan Nicholas Elliott as an office manager.
What is Jordan
Jordan
What is
Nicholas
that
Elliott.
company?
It's, we're franchisees of Papa John's.
And how many Papa John's restaurants do y'all have?
I believe 24.
Do you have any other restaurants as well?
We have Mojo's and Genghis Grill.
Genghis Grill?
Yes.
Now, what is your job for J&E?
I'm the office manager.
And what are some of your duties?
I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous.
That's all right.
I keep histories, records. I'm an event coordinator. I'm human resource. I do practically everything in the office.
How long have you worked there?
Mr. Dorsch hired me when I was 17. I've been with the company 40 years.
So 40 years in office manager, I imagine you had your hands in pretty much everything.
Yes, I've learned from the bottom.
Now, are part of your duties responding to any law enforcement request for any of your records?
Yes.
And can you tell us how your records are maintained and how are records created for the Papa John's locations?
In the restaurants, when a customer orders, our computers keep tracks of every purchase, credit cards, orders, in stores, everything, employee files. Our computer does everything.
So it maintains it automatically when the orders are created?
Yes.
And then they're stored?
Yes.
And are you able to go back and search the records?
Yes.
And when you search the records, Can you search by a variety of different means?
Yes, names, phone numbers, address. We can locate anything with,
And do you recall meeting with the Pasco County Sheriff's Office on, I lost my date, September 8th, I believe it was, in 2014? Do you recall meeting with the Sheriff's Office in September of 2014?
yes,
And do you recall them asking you about some transactions with Papa John's?
yes,
And were you able to provide the receipts or rather copies of the receipts for those transactions?
yes, sir.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to approach the witness with what has been marked for identification as states 611.
You may.
So I'm showing you now what the defense has already seen, which is 611 for ID. Could you tell us what that is?
This is a receipt for customers.
And is
What
that the receipt that the sheriff's office asked you about, or one of the receipts?
Yes.
And what is the date that they asked for you for the receipt? The date of the transaction, I'm sorry.
This one says September 1st.
And is that a true and accurate copy of the receipt that you provided to the sheriff's office?
Yes.
And that is a true and accurate copy of the receipt that was maintained by Papa John's and created at the time the customer made the order?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, we would like to introduce this into evidence as State 611.
Any objection?
No.
All right, 611 will come in.
Now, Ms. Dimalanta, would you mind telling us the date and time for that transaction?
This one's September 1st, 4:32 p.m.
And what was the customer's name?
On here, it says Adam.
And what was the address for the delivery?
7719 Hatter Drive in Hudson.
Thank you. Your Honor, may I have just one moment?
You may.
All right, just one more second. May I approach the clerk?
You may.
And may I approach the witness?
You may.
I'm showing you, ma'am, what has been marked for identification purposes as states 612. Can you tell me what that is?
612.
No, I'm sorry, that's a number on the back for
Oh.
us to know what we're talking about.
Okay.
Could you tell us what this document is, though?
It's a receipt produced by our computers when a customer orders.
And is this one that the sheriff's office also asked you to
Yes.
give to them? And is that a true and accurate copy of the records that are in your?
Records, yes.
Yes. Now, is this the one actually the document that you provided as opposed to a photocopy?
Yes.
And at this time, Your Honor, we would like to introduce this into evidence as states 612.
Any objection?
No.
All right, I'll come in as 612.
And would you tell us the date and time for that transaction?
This is September 2nd, 2014 at 5:22 p.m.
And will you tell us the customer's name
Adam,
and the customer's address?
7719 Hatters Drive in Hudson.
Thank you. All right, ma'am, 1 second.
Okay.
We have no further questions, Judge.
Cross?
No questions, Judge.
All right, ma'am, thank you very much. You may step down.
Thank you.
Is she released from her subpoena?
She is.
All right. All right, can I have the lawyer's bench briefly? And no discussing the case, and let us know by knocking when you're ready, okay? We'll be in recess.
All rise, court's in recess. Jury is all present and seated, Your Honor.
Thank you. State, call your next witness.
State will call Sharon Mann.
All right, Sharon Mann. Good morning, Ms. Mann. If you can step up to where the podium is. Stop right there. Raise your right hand and be sworn by my clerk.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. All right, please have a seat in the witness stand and speak in a loud and clear voice for me, okay?
I'm very loud.
Okay, you can just sit real close to the microphone, that should take care of it for you, okay? All right, Steve, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Defense. You have a microphone right there in front of you, so make sure I know you're very soft-spoken, so try and speak as much into that as you can. And can you please introduce yourself?
Sharon Mann, M-A-N-N.
Okay. And Miss Mann, where do you live? Not the exact address, but what street?
At the time on Hatteras.
Hatteras Drive up in Hudson?
In Hudson.
And that was back in August and September 2014?
Yes.
That area?
Yes, sir.
And how far down Hatteras did you live, approximately?
About halfway.
Okay, and Hatteras dead ends into a cul-de-sac?
Yes, sir.
And is it surrounded by a canal?
Yes, sir.
So really, there's only one way other than by water in or out of Hatteras Drive, and that would be up to Old Dixie Highway?
That's correct.
And are you familiar with the house on the corner there on the north side, 7719 Hatteras Drive?
Yes.
Now, I want to turn your attention back to September 3rd, a Wednesday. That morning, what were you doing?
Walking my dog.
And when you walk your dog down Hatteras Drive and by 7719 Hatteras Drive?
Yes, sir.
And as you were walking by 7719 Hatteras Drive, did you notice anything that drew your attention?
There were no dogs outside the side garage door.
Okay, and you're saying there were no dogs outside the side garage door?
Yes.
Were you familiar with that house enough to know that there were small dogs associated with it?
A small pen, yes.
Okay. And what else did you notice?
Side door was open. Someone inside.
Okay, let me stop you. I'm gonna walk you through it pretty slowly.
Okay.
And would this be the east side of the residence? The side facing Old Dixie Highway?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna display states 54. Do you see 7719 Hatteras Drive over there?
Yes.
Now, you said you saw the door open. You see that door right there?
Door.
Okay. And really, it's the only door on that side of the house.
Uh-huh.
And again, I'm going to show you states 80. 82. Is that a straight-on picture of that door?
Yes.
Okay, so you saw that that door was open and there was someone inside. Can you
Yes.
describe what else you saw?
A garden hose, jet stream, and a broom, and swishing
Now,
out the door.
the person that you saw, where exactly was he? Was he outside? Was he inside? Was he in the doorway?
Inside in the shadows.
Inside in the shadows? And could you get a good look at him because he was inside in the shadows?
Not really.
But it appeared to be a male, approximately 20s to 30s.
Objection leading. Approach. This man, I just have two requests for you, okay? First is, if it's a yes, say yes. If it's a no, say no. And sounds the same, okay?
Okay.
It's my court reporter. And number two, just slow down. There's no speed necessary so that you can get out your whole sentence, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I know you're probably nervous and you do have a very soft voice. We'll wait for you, okay? So just take your time, all right? But I really need a yes or a no, not a or okay? Thank you, ma'am.
And as best you can, based on the little you saw, what kind of description would you give the individual that you could see in the shadowy area of the doorway?
About your size.
Man or woman?
Dark. It was a man.
Okay. Approximate age, could you tell? Was it an older gentleman? Was it a young teenager?
It wasn't old. It wasn't a young teenager. It was 20s, 30s, evidently.
And it wasn't young, it wasn't old, it was 20s, 30s?
Mid-age,
Okay.
yeah.
And you described the hose. What was the person doing with the hose in the jet stream?
Rinsing the floor.
Rinsing the floor, and was that inside the doorway or outside the doorway?
Inside the doorway.
Okay, and then you described the individual using the broom. What was the
Yes.
person doing with the broom?
Very hard sweeping. Like he was trying to push the water out the door.
Very hard sweeping, like he was trying to push the water out the door?
That's correct.
Okay, and I'm just repeating what you're saying to make sure we can all hear. Now, as you walked by, did that individual do anything different?
Step back into the shadows.
Okay, to make it more difficult for you to see the person? Well,
That was my impression.
that was your impression?
Yes.
So it became more difficult for you to see the person as you passed by and the
Yes.
individual reacted to you?
Yes.
All right, now I want to turn your attention to later that same day, Wednesday, in the afternoon, somewhere around 3 to 4 o'clock, where you're walking your dog, well, rather, were you taking your dog somewhere at that time?
Yes.
Were you going with anybody else?
Yes.
And who are you going with?
Jerry LaManna.
Jerry LaManna, is that another a neighbor of yours?
Yes.
And she has a dog as well?
She trains dogs.
She trains dogs? And where were you guys going? How were you getting there?
A side-by-side vehicle down Old Dixie Drive.
Okay. On a side-by-side vehicle down Old Dixie Highway?
Yes.
Is that like a golf cart type vehicle?
Yes.
Okay, not like a car or a
Right.
truck or something?
Yes.
And you guys were all traveling, you and Miss LaManna and your dogs traveling on this golf cart-esque vehicle?
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 256. that appear to be an aerial photograph of the area of Hatters Drive and Old Dixie Highway?
Yes.
And Judge, at this time, we'd like to admit states 256 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, 256 will be in.
All right, and you see 7719 Hatters Drive there with the gold star.
Mm-hmm.
And you said
Yes.
you drove down Old Dixie Highway. Which direction did you go?
This direction.
And you go all the way to where the dead end berm would have been at the
Yes.
time?
Yes.
Is that approximately in the area where that red star is over in the...
Yes.
Okay. And when you got there, what'd you notice?
Lots of vultures and a horrific smell.
Lots of vultures and a horrific smell?
Yes.
Is it a smell that you had ever come across before?
I had not.
And pretty terrible smell?
An awful smell.
Where exactly were you when you could smell it?
About 20 feet from the berm.
About 20 feet from the berm?
Yes.
Just as you travel down Old Dixie Highway on that limestone road at the time?
Yes.
And because of the smell, did you guys stay there for any length of time?
No.
Had your intention been to let the dogs run around in that area?
Yes, sir.
Did you end up doing that?
No.
Did you just leave?
Yes.
All right, Judge, if I can just have a moment.
You may.
No more questions, Judge.
Fence cross.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, you may step down. Is she released from her subpoena?
Yes, Judge.
All right, you may, fence any objection? All right, you're free to go, ma'am. Thank you very much. State, call your next witness.
Yes, Your Honor, the state would call William Lusk.
Good morning, sir. You'll step right up to the podium. Stop right there, raise your right hand, and be sworn by my clerk.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, please have a seat in the witness stand and speak in a loud and clear voice for me. State, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, sir. Could you please
morning.
turn to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, introduce yourself by stating your name?
Okay, my name is William Lusk, L-U-S-K.
Mr. Lusk, as you sit here today, what part of the, do you live in Pasco County?
I do, I still do, yes.
And what part of the county do you live in today?
I now live in Wesley Chapel.
Back in 2014, what part of the county did you live in?
I lived in Sea Pines in Hudson.
And what was your specific address back in 2014?
I was at 7239 Hatteras Drive in
All right,
Hudson.
let's talk about this area, Sea Pines and Hatters Drive. It's a residential street.
Yes.
Could you just describe, I guess, the area or the geography around the street?
Okay, Hatteras Drive is one long peninsula. It's surrounded by water, and the only way to get off the street is Old Dixie Highway. So, and I'm at the extreme west end. So I'm closest on Hatteras Drive. My house is closest to the Gulf of Mexico.
All right.
On the very end.
All right, let's take a second just to talk about your house. Is it a single-story or multiple-story house?
It's a three-story home.
All right, and the master bedroom, what floor is it on?
The master bedroom is up on the third floor.
All right, and so to get from the master bedroom down to any other of the living areas of the house, you'd have to go downstairs?
There's one stairwell and an elevator.
All right. The stairwell, is that what you used primarily?
Well, my health is good, so I always took the stairs. The elevator was something I had put in case you have heavy load or...
Right. Okay. And as you go up and down the stairs, is there a window that allows you to see out to the Gulf of Mexico?
There is.
I put in as many windows as I could because the view where I am is very nice. And so it looks out over my dock and the canal, and the house are directly across the canal to the west.
All right, you have a boat dock that is water accessible?
I do. There's a boat lift and a boat dock, floating dock.
Okay. Did you keep a boat or watercraft on your dock during that time in 2014?
I had a canoe that sat upside down on my dock for probably 7 or 8 years.
All right.
That I lived there.
And from time to time, did you use your canoe?
Used it several times a week. I was property manager for a house right across the canal, and so I would, rather than drive around, because it's at least 2 miles to drive by car, I could row across the canal 35 feet in like seconds. Right. So I'd go back and forth by canoe, caring for my neighbor's property.
All right. And so when you would do that, is it safe to say that you would take the canoe from your property to the other house across the canal?
Yes, sir.
And then you'd bring the canoe back?
I would do my chores as property manager periodically and then come back across with the canoe, yeah. But it didn't turn it upside down again.
I guess what I'm saying is anytime you use the canoe to go across the canal, you'd always bring it back?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I'd like to focus your attention to the week of Labor Day 2014. Mm-hmm. Was there during this period of time a large police or sheriff's presence on Hatteras around the intersection of Hatteras and Old Dixie Highway?
Extremely large presence of police.
Okay.
Yes.
And during this time period, I want to focus your attention towards the end of the week, so the Thursday evening after Labor Day, okay? Right. Do you recall seeing or noticing whether or not your canoe was on your dock as you went up the stairs to your residence?
I didn't notice anything Thursday evening. I went out to a Knights of Columbus meeting probably around 6:30 or so that evening. I remember it being very dark, and I believe it was a rainy evening. And our street light, I'm right on the cul-de-sac, and there's one street light there. Like for the first 100 yards or so, 200 yards, that's the only light.
Okay.
And I believe that light was out for many years.
All right.
And we had tried to get it on in the community, so it was very dark there.
Okay.
So you don't notice anything that's happening on the side of your house or the water at night. You just don't know.
And since we're talking about this area, the Sea Pines area, during this period of time, 2014, were there homes that were vacant due to either foreclosure or people not living in them?
There is, yes.
All right. Would you say more than one?
Yes.
More than two?
Yes.
Okay, multiple homes in that area
Yes,
that were...
yeah. That happened with the collapse of the real estate market in Hudson, being a waterfront community. Lots of abandoned homes. It's still that way.
So Thursday night, you go to the Knights of Columbus meeting, you return home, and as you would have gotten up that Friday morning, that Friday after Labor Day, did you notice something as you came down your stairs?
First thing I noticed.
What did you notice?
Because when I come down my stairs, I'm looking out a very tall, wide window, and you looking right out at the water, and my dock is right below me, and I noticed my canoe was on the other side of the canal, about 35 feet away, and I had wondered how it got over there.
All right. Did you take your boat, your canoe, from your property to the property across the way?
I did not.
During that period of time, again, you've got to explain to this jury, you were the property manager for this residence, correct?
I was, across the canal.
So was there anyone staying or living at the property where you saw your canoe during that period of time?
He was not. I knew he was a resident of New York, and this was his second home, and I knew he was up in New York at the time.
All right.
So.
All right. So you wake up, you see your canoe no longer on your property, but on the property across the water, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Mr. Lusk, I'd like to show you what's been introduced as State's Exhibit 256, okay? I'm going to hold it up right here, and I'm going to ask you to identify, take a second to look at it and identify.
Okay.
All right. Have you orientated yourself to this?
I have, yes.
Okay. Can you just point us where Old Dixie Highway is?
This is Old Dixie right here.
Okay. And do you see Hatteras Drive on here?
This is Hatteras, starts here. Okay. This is the east end, and it ends right about here. All the other streets in Sea Pines go out further to the west, And Hatteras ends a little shorter right here.
Okay, do you see a green star there?
Yeah, that's right in front of my, that's the canal right that star is on right in front of my home. My home is the tall 3-story right here.
Okay, and you can kind of see the water back here in the canal out to the Gulf, correct?
Yes, sir. Uh-huh.
All right.
That's correct.
And just so we're clear, Hatteras has homes on both sides of the street,
It does.
and it's surrounded by water all the way around.
That's right.
Okay.
So once you're out at this end, you're landlocked. The only way out is to come back through this way to Old Dixie.
Okay. And just for another two advantage, so I'm going to show you what's been introduced as state's exhibits. State's exhibits are for me to read. 205 and 255. I'm sorry, 505 and 255.
Okay.
Do you recognize the
This is the floating dock that was just mentioned in my previous statement. When I come down the stairs, this is the ground level view of what I see coming out.
I'm going to put these photographs up on the screen so you can describe it. Do you recognize them?
Yes, sir. This is the house that I was property manager for.
Okay. Let me put it up here so that you can describe it for the jury so they can all see.
It's going to be up on that screen.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to ask you to look over your right shoulder, and we're going to reference state 505, and just give me a second to focus the photograph. Okay, sir.
All right, that is.
You were describing this area here. This is your floating dock?
Yes, sir. That's my floating dock. That's my backyard. That view is looking straight west. That canal goes straight out to the Gulf of Mexico. It runs east and west. The blue house, that's my neighbor that lives in New York, who was up in New York at the time. And he has a floating dock too, with the boat lift there.
And so this is the house where you saw your canoe out when you came down the stairs on that Friday morning?
Yes, sir. My canoe was tied up that morning on that floating dock, straight over a little bit to the left there.
Okay.
And that's my dock where your finger was.
All right. I'm going to show you quickly what is stage 255, and let me just zoom in a little bit here. You were describing that Hatteras is one, it's landlocked. I'm going to
Yes,
zoom
sir.
into.
Okay, that's an aerial view of my home and my backyard.
Is this your home right here?
Yes, sir. Uh-huh.
This is your dock,
It is?
and this is where you saw the canoe, correct?
That is correct, yes.
All right, sir, so and again, if you know the names of the streets that are over here, you can use them, but my question to you is, if you were to come down these streets, it leads to these separate fingers or canals, correct?
Yes, yeah, the next street over is Mako. I'm higher on the screen. The next one, I'm not sure, it might be Yachtsman. But that's the only street to get out to where my neighbor is across the canal. You've got to go over 2 streets on Old Dixie and then come all the way out.
Okay. But if you can get to this area right here, you can use this road or this little bridge to get access to the main road of Old Dixie Highway.
Correct, but from where I live, if I were to want to walk over there, it's probably about a 2-mile walk.
Okay.
Or a mile and a half anyway. Where by water, it's only 35 feet.
Okay. One moment, Your Honor. All right, sir, thank you. No further questions this time?
State Frost?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. You may step down. State, is he released from his subpoena?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection, defense? All right, sir, you are released. Thank you. State, call your next witness.
Laura Maniscalco.
Good morning, ma'am. You want to step up to the podium for me? You want to stop right there, raise your right hand and be sworn by my clerk.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. All right, please have a seat in the witness stand, speaking a loud and clear voice for me, okay? Okay, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning.
Good morning.
Would you please introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Laura Maniscalco. I'm the store manager at Circle K.
And would you mind spelling your last name for the court reporter?
Maniscalco.
And which Circle K is it?
State Road 52 in Moon Lake,
How long have you worked for Circle K?
7.5 years.
And you said you're the store manager.
Yes, sir.
What are your duties as store manager?
I basically see the everyday operation of the store. I mean, I do the hiring. I make sure the store is staffed. I take care of just about everything in the store. I do the scheduling, everything.
And what can you tell us about the security cameras in the store at Circle K?
I basically have a view of the whole entire store, from the gas pumps to the back rooms.
So you have multiple cameras?
Yes, sir.
At different angles?
Yes, sir.
And how is the data from those cameras stored?
It's stored on a hard drive on a DVR.
And is that DVR inside your store?
It is. It's inside my office.
And as a store manager, is the surveillance system and the stored video in your care, custody, and control?
Yes, sir.
And do you recall meeting with the Pasco Sheriff's Office in September of 2014?
I do.
And do you recall them asking you about surveillance videos?
I do.
And were you able to pull up the videos they were asking you for?
Yes, sir.
And may I approach the witness, Judge?
You may.
I'm showing you what's been marked for ID as state 612. Can you tell us what that is?
This is the video that I gave to the officer that I reviewed in your office, and I initialed and dated it.
And let me get you to speak up just a little bit. I'm close to you. I can hear you, but I don't think everyone else can.
This is the disc that I gave to the sheriff's office that I watched in your office, and I initialed and dated.
Okay.
State that'd be 613.
Thank you. I'll change that.
We already have 612. So it's going to be, the video is going to be 613.
It is now marked as 613 for identification purposes. And you said you wrote your initials and the date on it when you reviewed this video?
Yes, sir.
And that's how you know what it is?
Yes, sir.
Now, this video, could you tell us what it contains?
You see the front door view. You can also see the cashier view of the front door and behind the cash register area.
And is this surveillance video from September 4th, 2014?
Yes, sir.
And is this disc, does it contain a true and accurate copy of the surveillance video footage that was created in your Circle K?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, at this time we would like to introduce this into evidence at state 613.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, video coming in 613.
Your Honor, would you like to publish?
You may.
Ms. Maniscalco, the video that we're about to watch, are you actually in this video?
No, sir.
So we're going to pull it up on the screen here. Can you see that screen from where you are?
Yes, sir.
Now, the first one is Circle K, number 1. And can you tell us, once it starts playing, what we're looking at? It's going to take just a second while it reads the disc.
That's the centralized view of when you first walk into the store.
So is the main entrance, is this the main entrance to the Circle K?
Yes, sir.
Now, just if you look through the front doors, there's a white car, and the door just opened, and there's a gentleman standing there. Is that the front parking lot of Circle K?
Yes, sir.
just video, it does not contain audio, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, the man on the far left side of the screen wearing the white, appears to be a white t-shirt, is that where a person stands to purchase something from your store?
Yes, sir.
The register area? And the timestamp here, 9/4/2014, approximately 11:04 p.m. Are your timestamps accurate?
Yes, sir.
Now, this next video is labeled Circle K 2. And it's going to take just a second to pop up like the last one. All right. Can you tell us what we're looking at here?
This is the camera view we have behind the transaction area so we can see the people who walk up to the counter and the transactions they're making.
And is this the same time and the same area we just saw, but from a different angle?
Yes, sir.
Judge, we have no further questions.
Cross?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, then, thank you very much. You want
Thank
to
you.
step down?
She may be released.
All right, and you're released from your subpoena. State, call your next witness
Yeah, this would be a good time.
to take lunch.
Yes. The next witness will be a little bit lengthier.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I guess we're going to take lunch a little early, just so we don't have you have lunch really late. So we'll go ahead and have you put away your notes, grab your electronic devices, remind you not to talk about it or tweet or text or blog, and have a nice lunch. We'll see you back in the jury pool room at 1 o'clock, okay? I start putting names on it. They all look alike these days.
Jury's out of the presence of the court, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is there anything we need to address before we have lunch?
Judge, I would just note we have 3 to 4 more witnesses for the day. Most of them are very short, so I expect that we're going to finish pretty early, and then we have 6 witnesses for tomorrow. Most of whom, all of whom either could not be here today due to the holidays and whatnot, or we need to testify after some of those people because their testimony is dependent on someone.
Okay. So my question to you, the 3 or 4 witnesses, they'll be ready by 1 o'clock?
Yes, Judge.
All right, and then tomorrow, we'll be able to get in 6 witnesses in the entire day, you think?
Yes, Judge. I think we'll still end up finishing early tomorrow as well, but the witnesses tomorrow are a little bit lengthier.
Okay, no problem. And so we'll be on recess until 1 o'clock, and we'll move along. And when we run out of witnesses, I'm sure the jury will be happy to go home early. So we'll finish whenever, we'll be done whenever you're done. Okay?
Thank you, Judge.
Yes.